Tai is a very interesting and difficult problem for a lot of people to deal with because he generally gives up height and he gives up reach and usually a couple of different skill sets to his opponents. Like oftentimes people are coming in there a strong grappler with decent boxing, and just his power, his ability to take people out of this world is the leveler. You know, same thing with Stefan Struve. You got a guy that's 7 foot tall, good kickboxer, really good jiu-jitsu. Tai gets to his chin and he puts him to sleep. Like, this is what Tai Tuivasa does. There's no secret about that. Like, the stats back it up. 5th for knockouts in the UFC with 7. 6th for shortest fight time. I mean, it's like all of his stats back him up. Of course, Tai's on a real win streak, but this is where he kind of runs into some problems with these bigger athletic heavyweights. Tai is very athletic in some ways, but he's also at a disadvantage, height and reach. I mean, 75 inches, 6'2", there are welterweights with that kind of height and reach. Ciryl Gane's massive, and he's not carrying any excess weight. He's a finely tuned specimen, and he's not going to play the games that Tai needs him to play to get hit with those big punches. So if I'm coming from Tai Tuivasa's side, and you look at the Derek Lewis fight, and I think it was 12% of his strikes went to Derek Lewis's legs. That would be a very smart thing to do against Ciryl Gane. Walk him down, walk him into range. Like the good thing with Tai Tuivasa is that he knows he can take a shot. So if he can get close enough to Ciryl, he doesn't really have to worry too much about what's coming back. Most likely what's going to happen is that he's going to get outpointed. But that's probably going to happen anyway because he's not really bothered about landing points. He's interested in landing bombs. And sometimes you have to, take a few shots in order to land a bomb. The fact that Cyryl's got 4 knockouts out of 10 wins on his record, and that they're not, the devastating punches that we're seeing from Tai Tuivasa where people are getting stiffed. It allows Tuivasa to take a few liberties and to kind of disrespect the power of Ciryl Gane a bit because he wins that trade. So attacking his base, that side kick or that chop to the legs that he was using against Derek Lewis. Of course, these are going to be things that Ciryl Gane's going to be using against him as well. But he's got to do something in that trade. He's got to be aggressive in the early rounds to try and slow Ciryl down. He doesn't really want to play the long game, because after 4 or 5 takedowns defended, he might start to crack a little bit. Like you remember the Spivak fight, I think what was that second round? He was looking pretty good. He was getting taken down, but he was getting back up. And he's got good hustle, and he's strong, and he's got a really powerful lower body. So he's able to just kind of muscle his way up in circumstances where he doesn't necessarily have the jiu-jitsu technique that would make it easier. But there's a limit to that. And in the Spivak fight, we saw the point where it was like, arm triangle. Ciryl Gane could quite easily, find himself in that position, an arm triangle, Tai Tuivasa. Especially if Tuivasa's been swinging punches and missing because Cyryl's not going to stand there and receive. And then whenever Ciryl is in range, he's able to roll those shots off his guard, allowing Tai to kind of waste energy, really, just punching around the sides.